Falflahiatu and good evening. Leading this news bulletin, a middle-aged man was taken into custody last week on a domestic violence and firearm charges. The man was taken into custody on Thursday and was released on bail after a special hearing on Friday. Chief of Police Tony Edwards said the charges will be determined by the courts, but any incidents involving firearms or violence is punishable by the law. Alcohol was a major factor in the incident. Chief Edwards said the man was released on bail, but tough conditions also applied to the bail set, including an alcohol ban imposed and restraining order with an application to the courts to confiscate the man's firearms. He said he wants the public to know law enforcers will take a strong stance against any violence and the public must adhere to the law. The man is due to appear in court next week. Unexpected power cuts continue to plague the island's power supply. Last Friday's power outage was caused by a damage to the air circuit breaker. Yesterday, Niue Power responded with a scheduled power shutdown to the northern side of the island from Alofi North all the way to Liku. Staff worked through the afternoon to install a new circuit breaker that was also the spare for the corporation. According to Niue Power General Manager Speedo Hetutu, the air circuit breaker to the engine that supplied the southern side has also encountered some faults and needs to be replaced. The corporation has been quick to source a new part from New Zealand, expected on today's flight, that will be installed and hopefully resolve the issues with the power cuts to customers. Mr. Hetutu says that the advice for people at the moment is to switch off electrical appliances when there are power cuts to avoid any damage to property. World Ozone Day has been celebrated in some parts of the world, and New Year's celebrations started yesterday with some of its neighbouring Pacific countries on the same dateline. Ozone awareness and campaign continue around the world in the hope of reducing greenhouse gases that have affected the ozone in decades. Noticeable data also reveals since the industrialized era developed further, and so did that damaging effects of the sun with ozone depletion, resulting in ocean acidification, long hot days, and many more. In Niue, the campaign continues for awareness, and the island will celebrate the theme on Friday with the next generation of protectors, an initiative spearheaded every year by Environment Officer John Talangi. We will bring you more on the story in our future news bulletin. Last Friday, Niue High School students got to test the finer art of sales and marketing of their products at their FNT Expo at the Multipurpose Hall. The exhibition, hosted by the Food and Nutrition, Clothing and Textiles Department, was held to showcase what students have been working on throughout the year. This is the second year the school has put on the expo, and with each year it keeps getting better. For those who remembered FNCT, that was formerly known as Home Economics, where parents also noted children these days have greater opportunities to learn and put into practice their skills, with the idea that this can also be a money-generating venture with a bit of planning and thought. Many people turned up to support the showcase, buying food and that the students had carefully prepared. We managed to talk to a few parents about what they thought about these types of programs.
I like it so that that student knows how to bake, how to cook, especially for the girls, you know. This is the part of the women knows everything about the cooking, you know. I hope this is very successful today. I'm hoping really. I'm glad too.
Oh, they've got lots of nice healthy salads in the way of pasta. They've got sandwiches, they've got cupcakes and cakes, so all the good things, and money. I think it's a good thing. I think it teaches the kids just basic business acumen, also how to cook and prepare food, and perhaps just give them a sense of responsibility on how to make money for themselves for the future and without having to rely on their parents.
Year 7 put their creativity to test making pillowcases. Meanwhile, Year 8s were challenged to make sewn shopping bags out of material. Year 9 went a step up to design and make aprons, while Year 10s and seniors spent their time making sivaivai-style sheets. We spoke to some students about their thoughts on the day and lessons that they've learned.
We brought cupcakes and sago, and we were supposed to have lollies and jelly, but then they sold out really quickly. So now we're just trying to finish off selling everything else. She made a sale, I made the cupcakes, and it's actually it's supposed to be a chocolate cake, but then I ended up making a muffin, and then it didn't turn out to a muffin, so I just made out cupcakes.
My team is they're good and they're a bit stressed at the moment, but pretty good, running smoothly. We managed to put together some sandwiches, cake, whikakai, milkshakes, pancakes, and cream buns and custard donuts. I learned to always have a smile and always make sure you have the right change and don't overcharge your customers. If you were to take business, this will kind of boost up your knowledge on it, and hopefully it will help you somewhere in the future.
It took me a day to do this one because first we did smaller handbags, but they didn't turn out right, so we all did the same large ones. I think it's pretty good because it shows that we're actually learning something in school and that we have talent in doing stuff, and even the parents wanted to buy some of these bags. I think it'll come in handy if I need a new bag. I can just go down to the shop, get some material, and use my mum's sewing machine. But yeah, so it's pretty good. Oh yeah, there's a few kids in class who they really want to be fashion designers and they're into the whole FNT thing.
Parents were impressed with the level of enthusiasm shown and the proactive approach the school has taken to allow students to make and sell their own products, with funds going towards a cause of their choice. The day was a major success, with products sold out just before midday. Kaika restaurant in Alofi is ranked number 17 in the Japanese restaurants in the world outside of Japan. TripAdvisor, where travelers around the world vote their favorite places, now add Kaika as number 17 in the world outside of Japan. A great feat for one small boutique restaurant in the region and for Niue. The restaurant, which opened 2 years ago, has achieved its placing from thousands of Japanese restaurants around the world. Its reported owner, Abi Rubin, is ecstatic with this result. It was Tuapa's turn to shine last Saturday as they hosted their annual Village Show Day right back where it all began. The change of location seemed to go down well with the punters as they casually strolled from stall to stall around the village green. There was a wide variety of food on sale with umu food baskets, barbecue plates, raw fish, all kinds of sweet treats, and a few hidden recipes whipped up especially for the show. The formal program started with speeches from the various groups in the village and some special guests before the day was officially opened. The village was also delighted to receive a marquee gifted by one of their communities overseas, the Tuapa Uhumotu online group. Representatives from the group made the special trip to Niue to present the gift as a token of their ongoing support for the village. Agricultural food crops were plentiful, with different kinds of yams, taros, bananas, as well as watermelons, pawpaws, tomatoes, eggplants, and some fruit out of the ordinary. But it was the entertainment and dances that stopped visitors in their tracks to sit down and admire the performing talents of the youngsters of the village, who started off the entertainment. In village colours, red and white, they filled the stage. As for the youth, they entertained the crowd by reviving some of their popular songs and dances from back in the days. There were also a few solo performances. A dance tribute from the opposite crew in memory of one of their youngest members, Jackie, who passed away unexpectedly this year. It was a scorcher of a day and drinks were hard to come by as stalls sold out of almost everything by midday, but that didn't stop people from enjoying the events throughout the day. A new addition to this year's program was the inclusion of a friendly game of lawn bowls for the ladies of the village, sponsored by Tamaputimani. The day finished with the Sika Championship that was claimed by Halafo Mokale and the coconut rolling competition won by Doreen Siatanga. A highly successful day for the village of Tuapa Uhumotu. And that concludes tonight's news bulletin.